Welcome back to Smitty's Learning Room. Today we're going to continue looking at the types of training and have a look at anaerobic training. Now when we have a look at the syllabus, this comes under the focus question, how does training affect performance? And we come down to types of training and training methods, and we're having a look at anaerobic training. So for example, anaerobic interval training. So we know that there are 4 different types of training. We have aerobic training, which we learned about in the video before, anaerobic training, which is what we're going to have a look at today, and then there's also flexibility training and strength training. Now anaerobic training predominantly uses the ATP-PC system and the lactic acid system to allow the body to exert speed and power. Anaerobic interval training, plyometric training and agility training are all different types of anaerobic training which help the body enhance its speed and power. When we have a look at anaerobic interval training, it typically involves doing short bursts of exercise at a relatively high intensity and then having limited rest in between, so small recovery periods between these high intensity efforts. And common anaerobic interval training activities can involve power-related activities such as plyometrics, acceleration-related activities, and agility-related activities. When we have a look at plyometric training, it involves the lengthening of a muscle while it performs an eccentric contraction. Remembering that an eccentric contraction is when the muscle lengthens. And then obviously it's followed quickly and strongly by shortening through a concentric contraction. Examples of plyometric training can include box jumping or hopping or bounding over a set distance, standing or long vertical jumps, and exercise that involve catching and throwing a medicine ball. So you'll see down here that the athlete is actually doing box jumps or jumps from one place to another, which allows the lengthening of a muscle to perform and then also the shortening as well. Looking at agility training, and agility training is the capacity to change direction quickly with minimal impact on balance and speed. So this is really important for sports such as say football, soccer, netball, where you actually have to change direction quite quickly whilst remaining upright. A really good example of this is a shuttle run, as it allows us to develop our speed and also our ability and capacity to change direction without slowing down or losing balance. When we look at anaerobic training for an improvement of speed and power, you'll often find that anaerobic interval training has plyometric and agility training embedded within them. So it's not necessarily something that would be done as a separate thing. And this is because a lot of sports or some sport-specific activities need to enhance acceleration, need to enhance change of direction, need to enhance power and speed. So it's much more efficient to integrate these training methods than to do them separately so that the athlete can work on power and speed at the same time. By incorporating plyometric and agility training into interval or anaerobic interval training, we allow the athlete to have high bouts of exercise or activity with lots of speed and power, and obviously with that short recovery period to increase their anaerobic performance. Because of the high intensity of anaerobic training, sometimes it's good to have an aerobic base or a base level of aerobic fitness, which gives us an advantage to build on, especially in the early stages of training, so that the body doesn't obtain as many injuries because the body is fit and can deal with the demands of this high intensity style training, and can probably do this more regularly, as opposed to an athlete who's just returning to training may only be able to do this type of anaerobic training once a week because the body can't meet the demands due to lack of fitness.